Right, well, I'm going to begin by asking, I spoke to Drew and Toni, who said that they watched the film for the first time quite recently, and they were both a complete emotional wreck by the end of it. And I'm just wondering if the same could be said for you. Are you able to get emotionally caught up in your own work, or is that almost impossible when you're the director of a film?
Well, actually, I get caught up in the actors' performances. So when there are certain times in the movie where I see Drew and Toni, it does kind of get to me because they put so much of their heart and soul into it, and it felt really real to me when I watched them.
Because the film manages to not be overly sentimental or mawkish in any way, and that's always a very tight sort of line to kind of cross. I mean, to be kind of moving and not corny. How did you kind of ensure that it was always not sentimental?
Well, one thing is, you know, Toni's character, she's just like a hot mess. I mean, she is not she gets cancer, but she does not become a saint or a hero. She stays like this wild, kind of out of control person. And I think that's more real, you know, like people you meet, that you're going to still be yourself and go through all these ups and downs and crazy things. And then you've got Drew, that's the best friend that keeps her grounded, and whenever she gets a little too crazy, she'll like drop a zinger in there, and then there's just a lot of humor. They're both funny. Both characters are funny, and both actors are really funny.
Well, yeah, because I think that Jesse even calls Millie a cancer bully at one point, of course. You know? Yeah. And I mean, but I think it's the fact that, how important do you think it is then that it's particularly Drew's character, it is so kind of calm and quite reserved and very tough, because I mean she's our entry point into the movie in some regards.
Exactly, and I think that was fun because we've seen Drew a lot of times be the other character, and so now it was just kind of neat to see her play that person that's like, she's not going to take any BS from her friend, you know, and she's kind of like the best friend that you wish you had, you know.
Because I mean, when you sort of first hear the plot of this movie and see these two sort of stars in it, you would assume they were playing the opposite roles.
Right. And Toni has played the other role before, like with Cameron Diaz in Her Shoes, and so it was fun for us to see Toni do something she's never done, where she's like all sexy and glamorous at the beginning and then goes through this whole ride.
And I thought, another thing I sort of really admired about this movie is that it deals with issues we don't see in cinema very often. I mean, how cancer can affect someone's sex life, for example, or how a double mastectomy can affect a woman's confidence. I mean, these are things we don't see explored in movies. Do you think it's really important that, you know, these themes should be out there and they should be discussed?
Right, because so many people are going through it, whether it's someone's sister, friend, mother, wife, girlfriend. You know, a lot of men are dealing with this right now. I mean, I've had 50 guys come up and say, yes, my best friend just got diagnosed, my mom's doing this, and you know, it helps you get an idea of how you can be supportive, how you can bring light and fun into that person's life.
And I was reading that Jennifer Aniston was one of the names in line to play, was it Jess originally? I was just wondering why that sort of changed, and do you feel that Drew Barrymore's really, I couldn't picture anyone else in this role apart from Drew.
I think Drew and Toni, you know, are kind of like the perfect actor. Jennifer's great. She was interested in it before I even knew about the project, so I wasn't really involved. But I love her too. She would have been great too.
Stargirl is next for you. Just wondering what that one's all about and when we can expect to sort of see it.
Stargirl is a really cool novel that was written maybe about 10 years ago. It's been kind of beloved all around the world, and it was written more for like young adults, but it's really a beautiful fable. So we're going to make it kind of like a beautiful movie like Amelie, you know, where it's very special fable, and it's about a girl that has been homeschooled her whole life, and she's just weird and unique in her own person. She dresses like in prairie clothes and goes around and writes her own songs and plays the ukulele, and she goes into a regular American high school in this case, and people just think, wow, what a weirdo. And so it's how do you deal with like somebody that's special and unconventional. People like Taylor Swift on her book club, she's introduced this book and said, you know, this was one of her inspirations when she grew up, because it does help you like to, you know, believe in yourself, in your own unique individuality.
And Taylor Swift saying that's already quite a good endorsement for the movie.
It's not a bad endorsement, It inspired her. Exactly. Look where she is.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!